Hey guys, it's me, He4 here. After seeing how much positive feedback I got on my Harpy deck, I know I never showed the side deck in it. I wasn't really sure what to call on the meta at the moment, but now I am, and after doing much testing at my new locals, it's a very small place, but it has a very diverse and very tough people to face. Many different decks, such as Prophecies, E-Dragons, Mermails, the likes. I've decided on a side deck which has been working really well. Harpies are always getting tops in there, and they have tournaments every Friday night. It's a place called Game Masters Games in Bayshore. If you guys live around that area, that's where I go Friday nights, so hit me up. Anywho, in case you haven't noticed, this very nice mat for my viewers who like sneak previews of what's coming next. I'm still waiting on a few cards, but my Aquaforce deck for Vanguard is going to be coming up soon. It's not necessarily complete yet. I'm still missing a card or two, and the new pack is coming out soon. That has Glory, Maelstrom, whatever the cross ride is for it. So I'm not sure if I want to do like a pre and post of that pack for the deck profile or whatever, but definitely something Aquaforce related is going to come up after this particular video. But for this video, we're talking about side deck choices for the meta, what you should be choosing, and what's going on. And these are my personal choices. So for me, my 15 card side deck and what I call in the meta and why, I start off with 2 Cyber Dragon. Cyber Dragon is something that I have in all my side decks. It's 2100 beats for a special summon, which is great. Machina Gadgets are always a deck that you find at locals, not necessarily at the higher level, but it's a cheap yet really effective deck. So Cyber Dragon, what you get to do is special summon it, and you get to make Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon, so you get to take all their machines and your Cyber Dragon and just make one giant beat stick. So it's basically just a field nuke for them, and that's great. Also, 2100 beats gets over Gravekeepers, which are a problem for my deck in particular, because Harpies like graveyard control and the like. Things go off in the graveyard, and I don't know why. I always just seem to have a tough time against Gravekeepers. But yeah, 2100 for people running other decks doesn't really matter to me. It's machine, so you can use it in Machina Gadgets for themselves. It's also light, so anything that uses light, I highly recommend to use Cyber Dragon. It's always just a nice card to have. 2 Thunder King Ryo. This card should definitely be sided, if not mained. Thunder King Ryo is the card for the meta. It shuts down E-Dragons and Prophecies extremely, as well as hurting almost any other deck nowadays. But the part that really hurts is that they can't add cards to hand except for drawing, and that's going to be a key theme to my side deck. That really shuts down Prophecies because they can't add all their spells to hand, and what's a Prophecy deck without spells? 1900 beats for a level 4, which is great. Again, light for any deck that uses lights. Stops special summons, and it really doesn't hurt my deck as much. The only thing that the adding to hand stops is Hysteric Sign, but you just gotta be careful of that. I can still use Sword of 7 Stars to draw, because that's allowed under Thunder King Ryo. So yeah, definitely 2 T-Kings. This is probably the MVP. 3 Deck Lockdown. This hurts everything. It hurts Mermails, it hurts Prophecy, it hurts E-Drags, and it also hurts Madolches really bad. Deck Lockdown is, again, the theme of not being able to add hand. Deck Lockdown in particular states, neither player can add cards to their hand except by drawing them, and cannot special summon monsters from the deck. Destroy this card during your second standby phase after activation. I highly recommend picking these up right now, because they were going for like $5-6 on eBay when I had to get mine, and that was like the cheapest price, but that was a little while ago, so I'm not exactly sure what they're at now. But the part about not being able to special summon from the deck completely kills Madolches and GBs too, which I wasn't even thinking about them before because they're not really played nowadays. But so good. I can't emphasize getting this out turn 1. They just sit there, Mermails and anything else. I didn't get this on a Mermail player, and he basically had the scoop on the spot. Like, he didn't scoop, but he just couldn't do crap. 2 Mystical Space Typhoons. Now, some people might be like, Spencer, why aren't you maining these? The reason is because, well, for me, running Harpy's Hunting Ground is like an MST on crack. I just get to pop things all the time. But I still think, even if I wasn't running Harpies that have that type of power, that I would be maining Mystical Space Typhoon. I feel like it's a side deck card nowadays. Deck space is so tight nowadays, but Mystical Space Typhoon is really good for your opponent if you know they have spell traps that are really going to hurt you. Like, you know, you're facing Dino Rabbit and they have Dimensional Fissure, and D Fissure really screws you up. You're facing Malefics and they play Skill Drain, and that really hurts you up. So, Mystical Space Typhoon, really good card, but sided, not mained in my opinion. 2, Breakthrough Skill. I was running Effect Veilers early on in this format and decided against it. I do like the versatility that Breakthrough Skill offers, being able to negate once on your turn and once on your opponent's turn. And, I mean, some people might be like, Effect Veilers are tuners, so you can make Stardust, which is why I originally had it, if you guys remember the original deck profile. But now I just run Starlight Road in there, and that works out perfectly fine. But Breakthrough Skill, I was facing a Dino Rabbit player, and I don't exactly remember the situation. I think he just had like Loggy out, and I was just like, oh, if only I can negate it on my turn, then I could totally get around it and do stuff like that. Breakthrough Skill would allow that. Effect Veiler, not so much. Gozen Match. 2 of them. I love Gozen Match. Gozen Match has been a staple in my side decks for a while now because I tend to run mono attribute decks, particularly Wind, because I ran Dragoonies before Harpy. But Gozen Match is really good because it hurts multi-attribute decks such as Wind-Ups and Dino Rabbits and the like. Yes, most decks nowadays are mono attribute like Mermails and Dark Worlds, but for those that aren't, Gozen Match really punishes them. You can also use whatever the opposite of this is. I totally cannot remember the name of it right now, but it says monster types instead of attributes, so you can only control one face-up monster type. But that, if your deck works better with that, then by all means. But using things that advantage your deck, that helps your deck but hurts the opponent, are really good. That's why Rabbits are so good with D Fissure and Malefic's so good with Skill Drain, because those are cards that screw up everybody except them. And last but not least, 2 Shadow Imprisoning Mirrors. I love Shadow Imprisoning Mirror, mostly because of Evil Swarm. If they get that Ophion out and they're just sitting behind everything all day, it's just a really annoying game to face. And this also hurts Dark Worlds. It hurts Gravekeepers, but then again, that's more my problem than most people's problem. Hurts any dark deck. It can shut down half a Chaos deck all on its own. I really like Shadow Imprisonings. So yeah, that's my deck profile. I mean, my side deck. Stay tuned for more Aquaforce content, stuff like that. And this is Team 4.